So hey there everybody and welcome to the channel. Thanks for stopping by. My name is Rich Charpentier and I'm the channel host, and today we're going to talk about drone flight in Sedona. And this is a big one. A lot of questions, a lot of uncertainty about drone flight in the Sedona area. It's been going on for a couple years and I'm not the first person to cover it. But a few weeks ago, I had done a quick video on Kitty Hawk and where to fly and where not to fly and how to see if you're flying in the right places in Arizona. And I got several questions on the Sedona issue. So I wanted to talk about Sedona today because, it's been something in my mind as well. I haven't flown over there with my drone. So I have gone over to Sedona multiple times. It's less than an hour from my home and done a lot of photography out there. It's a beautiful, amazing place and some incredible red rocks. And also some questions about, can I fly here or can't I fly here? So I've done some research over the past couple of days because of the private questions I've gotten and the questions I've gotten here on the channel. So I've had several people get in touch over the course of the last year, more than several people, asking what's going on with Sedona. So the bottom line is, per the FAA, there's a lot of area in Sedona that you can fly, and there's some areas in Sedona you can't fly that people haven't been covering, and I want to talk about that today as well. So I'm going to turn over to the computer screen here, and we're going to spend a lot of time on the screen. And the first thing we have is a news article from the Red Rock News in Sedona. This news article came out November 27th of 2018. Sedona's no drone signs, because there are no drones signs throughout Sedona, don't obey the FAA law, and they can't be enforced by Forest Service or the Sedona Airport. Now, as you can see here, they've got this no drone zone. Unauthorized drone operations prohibited within 5 miles of an airport. Well, that's not an accurate thing, actually, because you can apply through Lance, or you can also do a waiver, but you can actually get authorization for the area. So this sign's a little scary, and if you're coming to Sedona for the first time and you brought your drone along and you wanted to fly, bottom line, it kind of seems like, nope, I'm not doing that here. And that is not necessarily correct. So the article goes on. The Pacific Division Communications Manager, Ian Greger, stated it's important to note the FAA has sole jurisdiction over airspace, and airport operators can't ban drones. So what's going on there? It's bottom line from this article, the reports are unenforceable. So the no drone zone signs say report the violations, and there's nowhere really to report them. So according to this article out of Sedona, less than a year ago, those signs are inaccurate, just plain and simple inaccurate, and unable to regulate. So this is an FAA issue. And the reason why it came up there is because people were asking about, hey, what's going on with this no drone zone? And second follow-up on that is from Aero News Network, and this is related to the AMA. There is a video on YouTube from the AMA talking about this as well, saying that those no drone zone signs are unenforceable. And that is true. And we've got right here, Sedona, Arizona, no drone zone is unenforceable. And recreational drone users need to report to notify an airport when they're flying within 5 miles of its runway, but only if there's an air traffic control tower. And the Sedona Airport does not have an air traffic control tower. Therefore, no notification is required. So you still have to fly smart and you still have to understand the rules. But bottom line, these signs are there to scare you off. I don't know if anyone's ever had an enforcement action against them, if Forest Service has approached them, if anyone from the FAA has approached them. But the bulk of the information out there right now is that you can still fly in the area. And what's interesting is somebody created a no drone zone map, and I just want to pull up that map. So they're saying maybe Forest Service did this, and they've got no drone trailheads, and you can see all these dots all over the place. And this is not accurate, and it's not actually honest. Now, what I want to do next is go over to SkyVector. And by the way, whether you're a hobbyist or you're a Part 107 drone operator, you should be familiar with SkyVector. This is a great resource, and it gives us a lot of good information. Now, Sedona can't just ban drones, and that no drone zone thing's kind of bogus. But I wanted to point out, because there's something that a lot of people have left out of this conversation. Looking at the Sedona area, you can see these blue lines with the blue dots in them. And these are actually designated wilderness areas. In the case of this one, I'm clicking right here so you can see the green splash. This is the Sycamore Canyon Wilderness Area. And also to the southeast of the Sedona area, we've got the Munns Mountain Wilderness Area. So wilderness areas are places that we as drone pilots should not be flying. And that is actually, that's a legit thing. So it's accurate. We should not be flying in these labeled wilderness areas. And so we should be cautious. But there is a lot of the Sedona Red Rock area. There's the Sedona airfield. But there's a lot of this area that is actually flyable, that on that no drone zone map would suggest to you, oh, I shouldn't be there. And that's not correct. That's not accurate. So the areas outside of these blue lines with the dots that are not wilderness areas, so I'm seeing Oak Creek here in the airport area, and in a lot of the Red Rock areas here that aren't wilderness area, there's a possibility of drone flight for sure. So that no drone zone map, not accurate at all. I would jump over to SkyVector and check it out. So when I look at Kitty Hawk, so the app on my phone, which we're going to flash a screenshot up of, on Kitty Hawk, it's showing the whole area as a legitimate area to fly, and it doesn't include those wilderness areas. So Kitty Hawk's missing a little information. If you pop over to AirMap, which is another Lance provider that you could submit your flights to, on the AirMap application, they do actually have the wilderness areas blocked out. So we've got SkyVector showing the wilderness areas blocked out. We've got AirMap showing that. Kitty Hawk is missing it for the moment, but they might have it at a later point in time. Only time will tell. But bottom line for us as drone pilots, yes, we've got these great apps that are with us, and Kitty Hawk's fantastic, and AirMap provides a very similar service and actually is including those wilderness areas. Whatever you're choosing to use, my suggestion is that you check several resources. You follow up on any additional news going on in areas that you're looking to fly but you're uncertain about. You really should get to know SkyVector, and you should learn a little bit about airspace. Even if you're not a Part 107 pilot, it can't hurt as a hobbyist to have additional knowledge. Knowledge is power, right? So what we're seeing here is that these no drone zone signs aren't legitimate for a large area in the Sedona area. But with these wilderness areas, there are concerns. And the bottom line for wilderness areas, let me see here. I had the Mavic pilots group up, and I was reading through all of what they were talking about, because everyone's very concerned. Can I? Can't I? And as you see on the Mavic pilots forum, people are trying to do the right thing. They're definitely trying to make sure that they're flying where they should be. By the way, taking a look at visitsedona.com, took a look at that one this morning too. Recreational drone tips. They talk about knowing where to fly and following FAA guidelines. On this webpage for visitsedona.com, we don't have anything about these no drone zones. We don't have anything saying that there's a ban in the area. But I just wanted to follow up. This is just another photographer, John Peltier, who had done some research as well looking into all this. And I just wanted to point out, so he found information on the Wilderness Act, and you can look at the Department of Agriculture's unmanned aircraft systems. But wilderness areas that show up on SkyVector, that show up on the sectional charts, are places that we should not be flying our drones. Congressionally designated wilderness areas, which are those blue outlined areas that say such and such wilderness area, are what this is talking about. So congressionally designated wilderness areas prohibit motorized vehicles, period. Drones are considered motorized vehicles. You might be able to make an argument. My suggestion is, there is plenty of space in that area that's not in the wilderness areas when you take a look at the sectional charts, when you take a look at air map. And so when you see these, stay away from them. In the case of Prescott, Arizona, Granite Basin, Granite Mountain has a section cut off that is a wilderness area. I don't fly my drone there. They actually have, they prohibit people from climbing on an amazing rock face in there for part of the year because there are peregrines nesting in the area and they don't want to disturb the peregrine nesting areas. That's absolutely reasonable, and I think any other drone pilot watching this would agree with me saying, yeah, I don't want to bother peregrines. I'd like to see them in flight and doing their thing. And so we should protect those areas. Lynx Lake, which is another Forest Service location in the Prescott area, Lynx Lake also has a wilderness area, and there's bald eagle nesting in there. I really don't want to bring my drone out there and bother the bald eagles nesting. I'd like to enjoy seeing them in flight, of course, but not from the perspective of my drone. That's okay, I can miss out on that. And before we wrap this up, so can you fly in the Sedona area? Yes, in some areas you can fly in the Sedona area when we're looking at the sectional charts and we're looking at the FAA's policy. So those threatening signs out there, it's uncertain who really put those up. When you read through some of these articles, people are pointing fingers at each other as to who's put those signs up. The one thing that hasn't happened is those signs haven't been taken down. So for some people visiting the area who haven't done their research, they might think they're completely out of luck, and that's not necessarily the case. And before I let you go, I just wanted to look at SkyVector again. The other week when I'd showed you SkyVector, we had a fire to the south of Prescott, Arizona, and that fire has since gone away. But in the weeks that followed, and in the past couple of weeks here, it has been pretty bad here with wood smoke coming across because there has been a brush fire in this area. So this is a temporary flight restriction showing up on SkyVector. And as you can see, this is a very large area. This area is actually coming into some of the areas that we as drone pilots could fly. And so right now that TFR is in effect because that burn is still going on. It's been going on for weeks. And let me tell you, I've felt it and smelled it in the air big time. I've got some pretty severe outdoor allergies, so these types of burns really kick my butt during different parts of the year. So I wouldn't be going over there anyways. I don't want to get anywhere near it. It's bad enough that it's in the air already. As we see to the south, though, that temporary flight restriction area from the previous fire is gone. This one is still ongoing, and on SkyVector, when I click on it, we can actually see the area. We can see the dates going on. They've got the entire area blocked out. They're giving us the GPS coordinates so that we could actually pop that into something like Ground Station Pro if we were wanting to see that flight area to avoid. So for the moment, staying out of that area. But overall, the apps are great that we have at hand. Kitty Hawk is fantastic. AirMap does a great job. A lot of drone pilots are not fans of AirMap for completely different reasons. And then we've got SkyVector and we've got other tools out there. So we need to utilize all the tools at our disposal. Seeing that Kitty Hawk isn't showing the wilderness area was a bit of a concern to me. I love the Kitty Hawk app, but it just tells me I need to do a double check. Then we go and we look at AirMap, and we see on AirMap that they do have those wilderness areas blocked out as places you shouldn't be flying. And SkyVector is showing us that when we're looking at these blue lines with dots. So once again, before you go fly somewhere new, I would suggest checking your apps and checking out SkyVector. And when you're going to do your flights, also, check in with WX Brief, 1-800-WX Brief as well. So to answer all of the channel followers here, it looks like there are definitely some areas in Sedona that you can do your flight that are not in the wilderness area and that are not controlled by this uncontrolled tower. Now, one last thing I want to show you on SkyVector, just real quick. I clicked on Prescott, and so Prescott does have control, so they do actually have a manned tower. And then when we go back over to Sedona and we take a look at that and we look at control right there, it's a big no. So that's an indicator right there that you can probably do more in the area than those signs are letting on. So once again, as drone pilots, we need to be good neighbors. We need to not disturb other people with the drones. There are a lot of people that go to Sedona every year to see the amazing red rocks, hike some of the really cool trails, spend some time at one of the Sedona vortexes, and just relax and take in something that's very unique in our world. So the red rocks here in Arizona are very unique, and there's not a lot of places globally that are like Sedona or the Page, Arizona area, or Vermilion Cliffs, or the Grand Staircase Escalante. So we need to be aware of where we're flying, even if we're legal to fly, making sure that we're not bothering other people who are also enjoying the recreation opportunities out there. But by all means, don't think you're completely banned from this area. And I would suggest doing some more research for yourself as well. It can't hurt to become as well educated as possible about where we can and can't fly. Before I got my Part 107, I was unaware that Lynx Lake in Prescott, let me pull that one up. So we saw Granite Mountain also has an area, but right to the south of the Prescott area, there's Lynx Lake. It's got the blue dots with the lines around it. It says Lynx Lake Bald Eagle Breeding Area, and that's a wilderness area. I don't want to be the guy bothering those eagles. I don't think you want to be the person bothering those eagles either. All right, everyone, I hope this was informative and helped out. So do a little more research, but if you are coming to the Sedona area, there are possibilities for your drone flight, and those signs over and over again. Here we go with this screenshot again. Sedona's no drone zone signs don't obey the FAA law. Can't be enforced. So there you go. Once again, don't get into a conflict with a Forest Service person or other authority figures. Go in armed with knowledge, and if you do have an incident, be the bigger person, and that usually works very well for drone operators. So, as always, fly safe and have a great week. And thanks again for stopping in and hanging out the channel for a few. I hope this helped clarify things for the subscribers who are asking, and for people just stopping by. We'll see you again in the near future. Fly safe.